But we are focused on the bigger picture, and that is Apple today, Pete. It is your largest position. The stock has run 15% in the last 3 months. Sometimes there's a sell on the news in these type things, and we've seen it before. What do you think is going to happen today? New iPhones, new watches, AirPods, etc. What are you looking for?
Well, I think all of that's great, and looking forward to seeing all the latest things that Apple has come up with. But I don't think there's anything earth-shattering that's going to be in here. If there is, then obviously that's going to be something that's going to be an incredible catalyst. I don't expect to see that, though. And I was listening to John Fort and the gang. It doesn't sound like they are either. It sounds like there are some great products they're bringing out there, some high-end, and obviously looking for people to maybe pay that extra high-end. Maybe there's less volume. But I think the reality is, if that is the case, we probably do see a bit of a sell-off, Scott. As you know, I'm not hoping for that, but I certainly am expecting that there will be, because that's kind of been the mode of what we have seen over the years at these kind of events. If there's something earth-shattering and something unbelievable, yes, the excitement level gets very, very high. But that's something that I think we're going to have to, whoops, sorry about that. We're going to have to wait and see. I don't expect it, though, right now.
Okay. All right. So, Joe, let's assume that Pete is right and you get a sell-off in Apple shares. What I wonder is if that becomes the catalyst, the long-awaited catalyst for the long-awaited correction that some people continue to call for. And the one thing that's been keeping it from happening is the fact that the FANG Plus stocks don't go down. They may go down for a couple days, but they haven't gone down. And if Apple starts to go down on the other side of today's announcements, that's not going to be good.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're answering your own question. You know that. You go back to the summer of 2018, Scott. Facebook had an awful earnings announcement. It went down 7%. It peaked along with Alphabet at the time, along with Netflix. And you've got the fall correction of over 20% because the 5 big mega cap technology stocks were not left standing. So today, if you do get a post announcement sell-off from Apple that on a sustained basis builds momentum, you have currently 4 of the 5 mega cap technology stocks at or near their all-time highs. I cannot see a larger correction unfolding, a double-digit type correction, without those mega cap technology stocks rolling over.
Right.
So Apple could potentially initiate that. It could roll into Amazon. It could roll into the other stocks. But let's be clear, Scott. To date, the evidence doesn't support that. The evidence says that they are actually acting in a very resilient way.
I agree. I mean, they have been viewed in many respects as defensive stocks. So even as,
100%.
The narrative has been in question over the last, few weeks, those stocks have largely held up. Over the last 3 months, I told you what Apple's done, 15%. Microsoft is 15.5%. Google is 16%. Give you an idea of what we're talking about here. Facebook is up 12%. Amazon's been the laggard, up 2.5%. But the stocks, Degas, have held up. You bought more Apple coming into the event, which is an interesting position to be in, considering what history has told us has happened to Apple stock on the other side. Why buy going in?
Hey, Scott, we're long-term investors, so what we really like is the profitability that we see in Apple. We like the valuation. At these levels, this is a fair valuation for Apple. And then the expectations, the subscriptions, they have subscriptions of over 700 million. And then you have the adoption of the Apple Pay and then Apple Music. The business model is intact for Apple, and we see this company going higher. It may have a slight pullback out there today, but we're really long-term investors, and we see a lot of value in Apple.
The reason why I ask you the question is I could see you saying, if history's right and maybe the stock does trade off on the news, we'd be jumping in, in 2 seconds to buy more. The fact that you're doing it before the event itself reveals a certain level of conviction that you have. And sure, you're a longer-term investor. I'm going to say that the majority, I would think, of Apple investors are in that camp as well. Do you feel nervous in any way going into today's event?
Scott, we're not feeling nervous at all because, once again, we're looking at the business model. And this event has not had a negative impact on the business model. And so we're very confident in our positioning. All
right. Spoken like a true military man, level-headed going in, not too high, not too low, just going to see what happens, and he'll deal with whatever happens on the other side of that. I got you, D.